Hi, and welcome to my very first knitting podcast. My name is Alex. I live in the UK, but I'm also half German, so if you're watching this and you're a German speaker, bitte schreibt auch auf Deutsch. Yeah, I wanted to start a knitting podcast. I've been thinking about it for a few years now, but kind of just never got around to it, never felt like I kind of had the expertise, but I don't think you necessarily need like loads of kind of craft authority to do a knitting podcast. I think I just felt like I wasn't in a kind of space to do it yet with my own knowledge and my own projects and things like that. But now I would say knitting is very much like the biggest hobby in my life, and I really just want to share it and also document it for me so I can look back on it and think about kind of how far I've come and how proud I am of my finished objects. So yeah, welcome to the pod. This is definitely a bit of an experiment, so forgive me if my editing skills are the worst. I'm gonna work on it, and I'm mostly just using free stuff, so bear with me. Yeah, I've got my iPad down here telling me all of the information that I've made notes on before this podcast, and also with my Ravelry, so yeah, I'll put a link to that in the description so that you can have a little look, and hopefully it'll answer any questions that I maybe don't get to. I think also part of the reason I wanted to start this was that I had a lot of questions on Instagram, which is really unusual for me, but that was because I knit this. This is my Staffen sweater. I'll tell you more about it in a minute, but I did some modifications to it and people were kind of quite keen to ask about that, so I wanted to kind of go into a bit more detail and see how we go. So yeah, finished objects. Let's do this. This is my Staffen sweater. Hope you can see it well. The sleeves are, despite having been blocked but 2 days ago, already bunching in a little bit on the 2x2, but as you can see it has this v-neck, which is not a pattern option, but I kind of just felt like I had enough crew neck textured sweaters and I didn't really see any kind of on Ravelry that had this sort of Ganzi inspired texture but also with a v-neck, and so I just thought maybe I can do it, and I've never had that kind of confidence with patterns before to make that kind of adjustment, but I gave it a go and it worked. So I've had a few people asking about how I did it and what I did, especially since Rebecca Clow, who designed the pattern, reposted it on her Instagram story, which is always very flattering. So yeah, the way that I did it was I followed the cardigan v-neck pattern in my size to the point where you would then start knitting kind of flat without any raglan increases, with the sleeves split off with the v-neck kind of completed, and instead of carrying on and knitting the cardigan flat, I joined it in the round. Now this took quite a lot of maths. I was asking all of my knitting friends, shout out to Bea, Sophie and Jen, who all contributed to that and the maths in that. You guys are the best. Oh, I forgot to mention, I am a PhD student and I work at my local knitting shop along with like a team of the most incredible women. So probably should have mentioned that at the start, but here we are. So yeah, thank you Bea, Sophie and Jen for helping me with the maths on this one. It was a bit of a maths puzzle to figure it out, but in the end I cast on 4 stitches to join the v-neck, and then when I picked up stitches for the collar part of the v-neck, I just made sure that I only picked up 1 or 2, I can't remember exactly. I want to say 1 of the stitches in the V to close it and make it kind of an actual v-neck shape. All of this was a bit of a gamble because, like I say, I'm not used to adjusting patterns, but I think it worked and I'm really happy with how it did work, and it just was a big confidence boost to successfully modify a pattern. I also modified the sleeves slightly. Don't know how well you can see, but they're not tight fitting. Like I looked through all of the Ravelry projects, and having made sweater number 18 last month and done it to pattern, I don't love the tight fitting sleeves when the body's quite loose fitting, so I decided for this one I wasn't going to follow the decreases rather as written. I was going to instead just decrease every 12 rows. And I think it's worked out perfectly. So I'm really pleased with this. I'm just incredibly proud of this sweater, and yeah, the yarn is a lot of fun. Um, I love this yarn and I have no idea what it is. This is my mystery yarn because a while ago, probably about a year ago now, No Frills Knitting in Bristol, love you guys, posted on their Instagram that they had 900-ish grams of this random kind of very dark grey, like charcoal coloured mystery yarn. They had no idea what it was, other than it was quite waxy and it smelt very sheepy. So we think natural fibre for sure, and it certainly feels like a natural fibre to wear and to work with, and it just is the sheepiest yarn I've ever knit with. It is so lanolin rich. My hands were very nice and smooth after working with this. But it was going for an absolute bargain. Obviously loads and loads of it. We didn't know the exact meterage, but we knew there was just shy of a kilogram of it. And I thought, you know what, that's a lovely colour, that's a great price, I'll do that. So I ordered it and it arrived, and I love a mystery, so it was perfect. Yeah, and originally thought about making an October sweater by Petite Knit, and then when the Staffin pattern was kind of being teased, it just seemed like the perfect pattern, and I'm really glad that that's what I chose in the end. I also decided to hold it with a thread of alpaca because it's very rustic and it just needed the edge taken off very slightly. And also I wanted the fabric to be a little bit denser to properly show off this beautiful texture. So I used Filcolana Alva, which is my favourite lace weight. I can't use mohair, I find it really itchy, which great for my bank account, but unfortunate choice. I then decided to use alpaca, sorry bank account. So yeah, I used Filcolana lace weight alpaca in the colour charcoal, and it is just a lovely texture. It's added in this real kind of halo to the whole thing, and the colour match is just spot on. I'm really pleased with how it's looking. So yeah, that's my Staffin sweater. Is there anything else to tell you about this? Yeah, blocking it was such an adventure. I'll put in the clip I took of the water after I blocked it because it is just it's foul. The dye leaked so much into the water that is just pure, like, kind of sludgy grey. So I'm very much hoping that it doesn't transfer to my clothes. As you can see, I'm wearing like a light turtleneck underneath it, so yeah. But I love it. I'm really proud of it, and I've really caught the Staffin bug now, as you'll see from my works in progress and my plans. But yeah, I think that's everything there is to say about my Staffin. So I have a couple of other finished objects from kind of the last month. I wanted to sort of maybe do this podcast as like a roundup of the month. So I have a couple of other finished projects, and they're two little scarves. At the beginning of the month and kind of the end of February, I was really in the mood to just knit little scarves. So I used some yarn that my friend Jen gave me from her stash, some scrap yarn, which was the Sirdar Hayworth tweed, in this kind of beautiful tweedy blue colour, a royal blue colour. And I love it. It's, yeah, just a little Sophie scarf. Let's pop it on. Just the smallest size. And I think it turned out very sweet, very cute. I've been wearing it a lot in this transitional season. I think also the first sign of spring for me is very much when I feel the urge to make tiny scarves, because my big scarves are too warm, but too cold to not have a scarf. So yeah, little Sophie scarf. I really like the blend of this yarn for a scarf because it's 50% wool, 50% nylon, so it's very hard wearing because of the nylon, but also just has this kind of softness and beautiful drape. And yeah, this took 2 days, I want to say, but I was knitting pretty, solely focused on this for those 2 days. And it's just, yeah, a great project to carry around. We all know about the Sophie scarf. I definitely want to make a red one, partly because I was very influenced by a Sandnesgarn picture that I saw of a pattern that I want to make as a Christmas sweater, which is, forgive my pronunciation, my Scandinavian friends, but yeah, the Marius Damagenser? I don't know, I feel like I sound very German. Please correct my pronunciation, I would love to know. It's beautiful, and the model in the picture is wearing a pale blue shirt, collared shirt underneath, and a little red scarf, and so obviously I'm now on the lookout for the perfect yarn for a red Sophie scarf to go with it. That's my Sophie scarf. The other one that I made, and again would love to make again, is the Sorgenfrei scarf. Again, don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I think I probably sound very German. I have forgotten off the top of my head who the designer is, but obviously I'll put the Ravelry link in the description. This one I loved making. It was a lot of fun. I kind of wrote the pattern out into tick boxes on the Notes app on my phone, so it was very portable, very easy to take with me. And I'm so pleased with how it turned out. I mean, look at this beautiful texture. I'm not sure if the camera will focus on it, but yeah, it's made up of garter stitch and a 1x1 rib section, and it's a free pattern, which is even better. I think it looks very similar to a My Favourite Things knitwear scarf, but the pattern is free. So yeah, I loved knitting this. I'll definitely make more. It's so flexible on what size you can make it, because you start kind of on the short edge and just increase each time until you get this kind of beautiful triangle shape. Yeah, this one is actually a present for my friend Steph. So Steph, if you're watching, it's not really a surprise anymore. But I really love the yarn I used as well. I bought this from my local yarn shop, and it is Anchor Cotton and Wool, which is, I think, increasingly one of my favourite blends. I love the kind of the fabric that you get from using cotton and wool, and how drapey it is, how soft it is. And yeah, I really enjoyed making this. I'm excited to knit this pattern again, maybe in red. I know I've been talking about red scarves a lot, but that would be a present for someone else, so you know. Yeah, would highly recommend this pattern if you're looking for a free little scarf pattern that can also be a really big shawl if you want it to be. Great for bits of stash. Yeah, fun pattern to knit as well. And maybe a fun alternative to the Sophie scarf if you're looking for something a little bit different with a slightly different stitch pattern. But yeah, this was a lot of fun to make. I think that is it for my finished objects for this month. I feel like most podcasters have so many finished objects whenever they do a podcast, and they do it sort of every 2 weeks or more often than that, and I just can't contemplate how that's possible. I think also I am somewhat limited in how much I can knit, because I have quite weak wrists and they get quite sore. I actually wear wrist supports while I knit, and it's made the world of difference. Let's talk about my works in progress. So I, at the beginning of the year, said, Alex, you find it stressful when you have more than 2 works in progress on your needles in any one go. So naturally I have 6 works in progress on my needles. It is how it is. Different whips for different moods. That's how it goes. So, lots of different things to show you. The first of which is my Stockholm slipover. I've been thinking about knitting this pattern for years and only just got round to it. Love a v-neck, as we've seen, and will go to great lengths to get a v-neck. This one is currently in the skimpy bra stage, but yeah, don't know how well you can see it from here. Maybe I'll have to put a picture in. We'll see. This is knitted in Rico Soft Alpaca, which I have quite mixed feelings about. I think it has a reasonably high, I've not got a label in here, reasonably high acrylic content, and I think it feels quite plasticky. I've got nothing against knitting with acrylic. I think it is such an invaluable yarn, and like, we sell loads of it in the shop and I feel great about it. I think it's a valuable choice for absolutely anyone, but it's not really to my personal taste because I find the texture a bit just, I don't love the texture. This one is a blend of wool, acrylic and alpaca, but I am willing to overlook the fact that I don't love the texture, because I love the colour, and I think it's my red era. I think I'm having a little bit of a red moment. So yeah, not much to say about this one. It's taking me a long time because I'm at the stockinette and around stage, and that is the danger zone for me with wanting to cast on more projects, because I think I can't be bothered with knitting stockinette and around for however long it's going to take. but I'm going to switch this one onto some wooden needles and take it to a research seminar, because I've been knitting through those recently, and I just think it's a great way to do my kind of stockinette chore knitting a little bit more. And I know that there will be days where all I want is to knit stockinette in the round, but this has not seen many of those days yet. But enjoying it. I think this is a knit that will be more fun to wear than it is to make. But I do love the pattern. I think it has a really lovely shape to it. I like the short row shaping on the fronts, and I love to knit a short row. So that is my Stockholm slipover. Let's look at what else we have. Next up is my Cumulus blouse, which is barely a thing. I cast this on in June 2024, and I have not worked on it since the day I cast it on, which was on a very long train journey across Europe. I was off to visit some family in Germany and wanted like some simple knitting that would involve a little bit of concentrating on the train, and I haven't touched it since then. The reason for this is that I find raglan increases to be the most boring knitting that there is. Raglan increases and stockinette, the most boring knitting that it's possible to have. I know I feel like I'm saying, oh, this is boring, it sounds like I don't enjoy my hobby, but I really do. I just find some things to be a bit of a task, and raglan increases are one of those things, and I'm so confident that I will carry on with this and finish it one day. And taking it out this morning, I thought, this is going to be so much fun, I really need to finish it, but you know, we'll see when I get around to it. Hi Pandy! Hi Pandora! I have a cat. She's very, very shouty. She's come to join in on the podcast. She's the star of the show. Hi girlie! So we'll see at what point she attacks my yarn. She loves stitch markers in particular, and she's already kind of patting them a little bit now, so we'll see how well behaved she is. This yarn is such a win. Pandora. This yarn is such a win. I got it in a yarn swap that the shop that I work at organised, and we do them for charity, so there's sort of a participation fee and everyone brings sort of usable quantities of stash. This is Isager Alpaca 1 held with Alpaca 2. Pandy! She's chewing a stitch marker. Sweet girl. So this is Alpaca 1 and Alpaca 2 held double in this beautiful kind of brick red colour. Hi cat. She's off. Beautiful brick red colour. I think it'll suit me really well. It's sort of slightly orangey, slightly pinky. Oh, big stretch. Unclear exactly what colour it is, but I love it and I'm so excited for it to be finished and to wear it eventually. But unfortunately for that, I need to grow up and knit my raglan increases. So if anyone has any words of encouragement, that would be well appreciated. Hold me accountable to finishing this. It's delightful, the yarn is wonderful, I need to wear it. And I think it'll go really well with all my summer clothes. Next up, we have step 2 in my Staffin obsession. I'll talk about the yarn a little bit more in acquisitions because I bought some new yarn. But yesterday I cast on a Staffin vest. So let me show you. Hi Pandy! She wants to participate very much. She loves to be involved with anything that's going on, and I find that so charming about her. She's fantastic. Light of my life. So yeah, this is my Staffin vest. I think my camera cut out. Hopefully it hasn't deleted any footage. So yeah, this is the next step in my Staffin obsession. I cast on my Staffin vest yesterday. I love this stitch texture so much. I find it so much fun to knit. I'll talk about the yarn a little bit more when I talk about acquisitions because I bought some new yarn for it. But I am loving the progress on this so far, and I'm definitely going to be working on this more today and over the weekend. I think it's going to go, the aim with this was that it would go with all of my summer trousers, because all my winter trousers are different shades of navy, black, cream, green. Easy. But my summer trousers are a little bit more fun. I've got shorts that are navy, shorts that are green, fun, Also some linen trousers that were originally a sort of peachy colour that didn't suit me very much and didn't go with much that I wear, so I dyed them bright red. And I also have a bright red pair of shorts. And I thought this yarn would really go with all of those, and so I'm very excited about it. It will go with all my shirts as well, and t-shirts. I think it's just going to be very cute. I'm planning to do some adjustments to this as well, because apparently I can't knit a staff-in without making some sort of modifications. And the plan is very much to increase the depth of the armholes, because I often find that in Rebecca Clowes patterns the armholes are very tight on me. And I know a few other people have found this as well. Not criticism by any means, I really love her patterns, obviously knitting this one many times, but I'm just aware that I need to make that adjustment for myself. So I think what I'm going to do, I'll let you know if it works probably in the next podcast, but I think what I'm going to do is, instead of doing the increases in the rib section where the pattern indicates, I'll just keep knitting straight and then do them in the next one down. And I think it's possible this will make the armholes too deep, but I'd rather they were too deep than too shallow. So that's my thinking. What else? We're getting there on the whips. Progress. This one is in a bag that I bought from Søstrene Grene. Again, probably pronouncing that wrong. But I think it's meant to be sort of a loose produce bag, but I'm using it for my knitting, so Staff Invest is loose produce. What else do we have? So many whips. And so many whips that begin with an S. So this one is a test knit that I am so excited to be part of for the absolutely incredible Rosa Pomar, who I'm sure you know, but she's a Portuguese knitwear designer. She runs her own yarn brand, which is Retrosaria, and just has the most amazing ethos of kind of conservation and involvement and understanding of Portuguese sheep. And I applied for this, didn't expect to get chosen for it, was so excited to then get chosen for it. This is her absolutely stunning sweater with the sheep all over it. Looks a little bit like the kind of famous Princess Diana sweater. Now, I'm making very slow progress on this because I've never knit a sweater in fingering weight before, and I'm finding it hurts my wrists quite a lot, but the pattern is so enjoyable to knit. It's so much fun. When this publishes, run don't walk, because it is just a joy. And I love the ethos behind it as well. It's all about kind of embracing your kind of your country's sheep and getting to know some things about them. So with that in mind, I am using Bar Ram U, which I think might be my favourite yarn brand. I love them so much. All of their yarn is stunning. This is the Pip Colourwork Naturals in this beautiful undyed, straight from the sheep colour. And this is Eden 4-ply in this stunning kind of dark chocolatey brown. I think these are going to be a really beautiful combination. And I'm so excited to see the finished thing. I'm reconciling myself to probably not finishing this test knit on time. And by probably I mean definitely, because the pattern launches at the start of April and it is currently mid-March and this is how much I've got. So it's not going to happen, but thankfully Rosa is so wonderful and so understanding, and you know, I kind of explained the whole wrist pain situation, and I'm just loving knitting this though, and I think it's going to be one of my proudest achievements maybe ever when it's finished. It's also going to be the first time that I try steeking, which I've never done before. I think I'm going to need to just be held and told it's going to be okay, because I'm probably going to cry when I steek it, but the pattern has great instructions, and I think there's going to be a video as well, so it'll be fine. Yeah, we're getting there on the whips, people. This is going well. So, this is another one that unfortunately fell victim to my hatred of raglan increases and also finding stockinette in the round to be not the most fulfilling knitting in the world, but it has been my seminar sweater that I've been knitting in seminars kind of throughout the year, and that has really been a win for both the sweater and the seminar. This is the Amy sweater by Petite Knit. Let me fold the collar so you can get a proper look at it. It is such a beautiful classic, it's covered in cat hair, a beautiful classic shape, and I'm so excited to wear this, but it'll absolutely be finished just in time for the summer heat. So this is it. I think it's going to be very beautiful, very classic. I'm knitting it in World of Wool Fluff DK, which is in this colour. The colour's called Hotel Bedding. I don't know about you, maybe I'm just not staying in fancy enough hotels. I've never seen hotel bedding that is a rich navy blue, but we go with it. And it is a lovely texture, both in the ball and knitted up. It's just proper merino, and it's manufactured in the UK, which also is good for my carbon footprint. So loving it. Just started on the ribbing at the bottom. I've decided not to do the rolled edges because I just went off them, is the simple answer. I'm excited to wear this. I love 2x2 rib. I love the kind of clean raglan increases on this one, even though I cast it on in September and did not complete the raglan increases until January. I know myself, this is just what I'm like. I know that because I then did this and it was quite quick, when I get to the Cumulus blouse, it'll also be quick. But yeah, that's my Amy sweater. The sleeves on this will be super fast. I knit a DK sleeve quite fast, so that'll be grand. Let's pop that back in the bag and check the camera's still filming, because I fear it may not be. This bag here, this project bag, is the, I want to say it's the field bag. You can get the sewing pattern rather on the fold line, and my wonderful mum made this for me, and it has pockets on the inside, and is just a really nice size. I can actually fit a whole in progress sweater in here, so thank you mum, you're the best. Let's check that the camera is still filming. Hi Pandora, are you gonna come join in? She's staring at me. And my final work in progress, because I have to have a sock on the go, is just a vanilla sock pattern in this absolutely awesome kind of sunset yarn. I really hope the camera is focusing when I show you these, because I simply don't know. Yeah, love this yarn. I think it is just beautiful, the kind of sunsetty way it kind of goes from blue to pink and back again. This is sort of the vanilla socks on 9-inch circulars pattern by the Crazy Sock Lady, but I've adjusted the numbers based on the Everyday Socks pattern by Petite Knit, which I find is a great fit for me. I just needed some help doing my first slip stitch heel, so I've now kind of written up my own perfect vanilla sock recipe, so we'll see. And I'm very excited to wear these. It's a very soft yarn, it's a merino nylon blend, so I think it's going to pill a lot, but I think it's worth it. Yeah, this is Adventures in Yarncraft. I got this ages ago now from the yarn shop I work at, and yeah, knitting on tiny circulars has absolutely transformed my sock game. And yeah, I just have to knit the foot and the toe on this, and then it's done, and I can knit the second sock. And then after that I think I'm going to knit some DK weight socks, because that'll be a fun change to have socks that knit up very fast. But I don't know, I think it's just nice to have a sock project with you, and they fit in my little Uniqlo bag, which even better. I'm trying very hard to become a small bag girly, but I think I just like to carry a backpack quantity of stuff with me, so becoming a small bag girly is a challenge, but sock projects are helping. This little bag is a tiny toiletries bag that my grandma gave me years ago. I am really not a kind of fancy project bag kind of person, because I really am just of the belief that if it's a bag and it has a project in it, it's a project bag. For example, this one, which I showed you, loose produce bag, and my needles are sticking out of it. So let's just say my project bag collection is eclectic. But I love it, and I mean, I would love to have some super fancy project bags, but for now I'm happy with what I have, which is this motley crew. Right, what next? Acquisitions. Oh yeah, I am trying very, very hard to not buy a lot of yarn, because everything that I have in stash I'm excited about. It's all got a project attached to it, and I'm excited about all of those projects. That said, sometimes we slip and fall. So there we are. Like I said, I bought some yarn for a staff invest. This is everyone's favourite Sandnes Peer Gynt in the marzipan with Tutti Frutti tweed. I hesitated for a very long time on Peer Gynt because it just clocked up slightly higher prices than I was willing to pay. We don't sell it at our shop, and I just didn't think it was going to be worth it. I was so wrong. I'm loving it. I think it's my new favourite kind of individual yarn. Still love Varamu as a brand, but they're my favourite brand. This might be my favourite yarn though. It's so hard wearing, the texture is beautiful, it's lovely to knit with, and I think their colour range is just spectacular. I love all these little multicoloured tweedy flecks. I think that's going to really help it go with any outfit. I think it'll just bring out the colours of whatever else I'm wearing. And I think marzipan is a great colour. I love marzipan the food, and that may have influenced me in this. Like, I've done a lot of baking recently, and I've baked a lot with marzipan, so maybe I've influenced myself, who knows. But I have quite a lot of this now. I have, yeah, this for my staff invest, and I also have 11 balls of this, same colour, for my Marius Darmagenser, as well as some of the Dazzling Blue, I want to say, maybe Jolly Blue, not sure, it's blue, bright blue. The pattern has sort of a colourwork drop shoulder yoke, and then this is the main body of it, and that's exactly the colours in the kind of pattern as written. I have this agreement with my mum where she, as my Christmas present, buys me the yarn to make a Christmas sweater, and then I wear it when we see each other around the holidays. So I have some of this for that as well. All of this is from Tangled Yarn or Knit with 2 T's, both of which are great shops, love them both. Never been to either of them in person, but their websites are fantastic, and the shipping from Knit is so fast, very impressive. So yeah, that's a little acquisition. Yes, I also have a couple of other acquisitions, but they're not very big. The first one is this beautiful skein of Woodnote DK from Varamu. Let me show you. It's this stunning sort of honey colour, and the shade is in fact called Honeybee. I got this from the shop because I didn't pay for it, completely free, because this was the only skein we had. I have no idea why we had it, but we don't sell it, and yeah, one skein is, yeah, was just gifted to me by my wonderful boss and my wonderful colleague, and I think it's an awesome colour. I love it so much. It will either become a ribbed beanie or the citrine hat by Vertnit, French? Not sure. So we'll see. That's a very cool hat pattern that is mostly ribbed but has sort of a hint of cable above the brim, and I think it will be perfect for this. So this is a BFL Masham blend. Thank you so much to Pandora's back. Hi! Come on. I think this will be a beautiful hat, whichever one I decide. I made, she's so shouty. Oi, 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 she's catching my feet. I made a ribbed beanie by Pearl Soho for a friend of mine, and I might do that one as well, but we'll see, we'll find out. Either way, it's stunning. It's a colour I've been looking out for a while, a sort of honey mustard. It's gorgeous. We love. Anyway, final acquisitions are two that I'm doing some serious girl math on and saying that they don't count as buying yarn. They definitely count as buying yarn. These are also both from Knit. They are also Filcolana Alva, which is the lace-weight alpaca that Filcolana makes. And these are for my stripe pipe sweater. So I did some maths. I was really feeling the urge to knit a stripe pipe, and I realised that I have plenty of yarn in stash to do it. Not only do I have the stash to do it, I have lace-weight alpaca to hold with almost all of the colours. It's going to be green, orange, kind of greyish, and then the sleeves are going to be the leftovers from this and pale grey leftovers from my sweater number 18. And I had alpaca to hold with all of these except for the green and the orange. So got these. Let me see if it will focus at all. But yeah, just quite nice, like traffic lighty autumnal colours to hold with. Not much more to say about this, but girl math tells me they're basically free because it's knitting from stash and I don't wish to hear the truth. So there we are. I am... Ooh! Okay, my final acquisition that I want to show you, and this is not going to be normal for me, I'm not going to show you other things that I've acquired in daily life, but this time I wanted to because the plan is to style these with a lot of knitwear because I needed some summer shoes. I used to have Vans, they've worn out, had them for years and years and years. I was thinking about what to replace them with and I decided to get boat shoes. I have admired shoes like these since I was about 14 and my friend Lucy had some, and Lucy's also a crafter, she's an amazing sewist, awesome knitter, just all around great person, so hi Lucy, I don't know if you're watching but you're the best. I saw her have these, saw her wearing a pair of these when we were teenagers and just absolutely fell in love with them, and suddenly they've come into trend. Now I feel like all the chic, stylish girls are wearing these at the moment, and my concern is that they'll make me look less like a chic, stylish girl and more like a Famous Five character, but we roll. We're gonna go with it. I'm very excited to wear these. I think they'll be like a really good hard-wearing summer shoe that will go with my shorts, my red linen trousers, they'll go with my knitwear. Oh, just, yeah, and 50% off in the sale. Anyway, that is it for acquisitions. Yeah, next thing to talk to you about is my plans. So knitters, we know what we're like. We can't just be knitting, we have to be thinking creatively all the time. Browsing Ravelry, browsing yarn, poking around our local yarn shops. That's what we're like. This is definitely my main sort of creative outlet as well at the moment, is kind of figuring out how to use my stash in creative ways, and if I've gone off the project I originally bought the yarn for, what am I going to use it for now? So, like I mentioned, my stripe pipe sweater by Kutova Kika is going to be one of these options. Going to be cream body with those colours I described. All of this from stash and almost entirely wool or a wool blend, which is so exciting. I love just the texture of wool with alpaca held together, so nice. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm very excited about that. When I've finished one of these, I'll probably cast it on, but I don't have any 4mm needles free at the moment, and I'm not going to get them free unless I finish my Amy sweater. So there we are. Yeah, that's part of the plan. The other next thing on my list is the Melange Sweater Man for my brother-in-law, which I've been promising him for over a year now. So I think the way it's looking now is that last year he got the yarn for his birthday, and this year he'll get the labour for it. So there we are. It's going to be a lovely... I've got the yarn. It's a combination of sort of strawberry pink, but kind of similar to this actually, like this kind of shade, and cream. in Drops Flora held together for the melange effect. And that's going to be a lot of fun to knit, but it's definitely going to be a good seminar sweater for going round and round and round in circles. Obviously my Staffin vest I've cast on already. I'm very much planning to knit a summer Staffin sweater, which will be a kind of cream coloured, but kind of greyish cream, like not too warm, in BC Garn Big Bio Balance, in their sort of cream colour, which is a wool cotton blend, so I think perfect for the summer. I'm just sort of picturing it like tied around my shoulders while I'm on a bike ride, or like wearing it with shorts and with my shoes in the evening. I think it's just going to be delightful, classic. So I'm excited to make that. My boss is ordering the yarn in for me because she's the best, so yeah, very excited about that. Those are my plans. Obviously I have loads of other plans as well. I have a Make 9 bundle on Ravelry, but there are about 15 things in it, so I can't count. But that's where we find ourselves. Yeah, we're getting there. Nearly the end of the first podcast. So yeah, last things to say are that we're getting into moth season. Take this as a warning. If you live in the UK and you think you don't have moths, you definitely have moths. I had such a bad moth infestation last year, but they somehow did not touch my yarn or indeed my sweaters, which was a miracle. So thank you moths for having a go at the carpet and not my knitting. I am ramping up my moth defences. So I'll probably do a whole video on this because I tried really hard to find a video about moths to A, make me feel like it wasn't just me, and B, kind of get some ideas. So I'll probably make a whole video about that, but my stash is stored safely, my sweaters are stored safely, my partner is making lavender bags, my partner's also a knitter, so everything is going to be protected. And I've also started using a new perfume that's sandalwood flavour. My brain is obviously in German today. Sandalwood scented, and I feel like it makes me smell like a cool girl. And if I can smell like a cool girl and repel moths at the same time, we're cooking. So moth season is coming. Be warned, the temperature is heating up. The moths are waking up. And the final thing I wanted to say is like, what have I been reading and watching and listening to while I've been knitting? Now, I am a PhD student, like I mentioned. I find that I can knit, stockinette and read on my laptop from kind of academic books simultaneously. I also am in sort of the media studies field, so there's lots of videos, documentaries, things to watch, and honestly my PhD and my knitting pair perfectly. I also do a lot of kind of costume studies, so again, it's all part of the same thing. So I work and knit at the same time, as long as it's kind of sock knitting most of the time. But other things that I've been watching and reading and listening to are, the first thing is a book, which is Doppelganger by Naomi Klein, which is fascinating but quite troubling, so recommend that, but with a proviso. I've got it loaned from my local library. We love a local library. I'm so team local library, and anyone who watches this podcast should be too. In terms of listening, I also get lots of audiobooks through my local library, which is the best. But I've been on a real kind of podcast kick. I love a podcast series, and the one that I've been listening to recently is The Toxic Waste Scandal, which again is troubling, so like has a lot of themes that can be quite triggering for people, so go into it cautiously, but is completely fascinating and is a part of recent British history that I knew nothing about. And that was sort of inspired by watching on Netflix Toxic Town. Again, go into it cautiously, be aware of what it's going to be, but it is fascinating and such a cast of big hitters. It was weird seeing Eloise Bridgerton not as Eloise Bridgerton. Bear with me. So I think that's sort of it. Have I been watching anything else? Lots of trash. Watched a lot of Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders recently, so yeah, let me know if you're also into Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders making the team, because that's my guilty pleasure. I think that's it. Thank you so much. Pandy, thank you. She's very glad that I finished my first knitting podcast. If you enjoyed this, please tell me, because this is a big sort of leap of faith in some ways, and you know, I'm used to performing and being on stage for another aspect of my job, but at the same time I the cat is hunting my feet. This is a new one for me. I don't really enjoy filming myself, so, or like being on camera, so let me know if you enjoyed it, make me feel validated. Yeah, I'll probably film monthly. Forgive any editing problems, and we'll go from there. Right, I'm gonna go and play with this fractious cat. But yeah, thank you for watching.